Let's undock from the tripod just for a second. We'll take a look at the reviewing table as it stands now as I start this WRV. And I want to make a point. So we got digital calipers over here, watch band, trigger scale, T82 tank, ME262, Piranha auto knife, P51, some large survival knives over there. Can you recognize them? Tiger attack helicopter. Look how sick that thing is. It's been featured in some other videos. Got a Sterling dive watch. What is this? PRW 6100, Halo. None of this is set up. It's just how it is right now as I start this review. And the point I'm going to make is this. I never set up the decorations in front of the camera, like thematically. I don't. I just kind of grab this, I grab that, throw it in front of the camera, and start speaking off the cuff. It's never scripted. You might tell. And what I noticed about the things I grab now is that every item on the table, well, maybe not this box, but all these items have a sense of nostalgia for me. And yes, I love nostalgia. I love history. I don't talk about it too much because the reviews generally don't open me up to do so. It'd be too off topic. But in this one, we're looking at a traditionally styled watch, a nostalgic watch. It plays, and it's funny what I grabbed. It's like everything is nostalgic for me. For instance, this is Dad's T-38 patch he wore on his flight suit when he flew for the Air Force. I myself am a retired 21-year Lieutenant Colonel pilot, U.S. Air Force. I flew the same jet. I wore this patch when I flew the T-38 as well. Dad instructed in it, and I don't know if you know this, he also named it. That's right, my dad named the Northrop T-38 the Talon. That was Dad's name. Grandpa, nothing fancy. And he instructed in it for several years. He did, and I had the privilege of flying the T-38. So fun. So this patch is very nostalgic for me. No doubt it brings back a ton of memories for me flying that jet operationally in the Air Force. Super fun. This is a King Tiger. It also is nostalgic for me because I think German armor was amazing, and I think the history of World War II is amazing. The study of the weapons both sides used in World War II is just mind-blowing. The King Tiger, had it been produced in quantity, would have delayed the war for probably another year. If they would have had like 1,000 King Tigers with all their quirks fixed, oh my gosh, we would have had a huge problem pressing on from D-Day inland. This is a Stug, also nostalgic for me. I think they should have mass-produced this tank as well. Very low profile. It's actually designed as an assault gun. I think it's in World of Tanks. I don't play that game, but I have friends that do, and they tell me about it, and I have watched a couple of videos on it. It looks like a totally awesome game, World of Tanks. No, I don't have time to play it. Well, I'd have to shut down TMP. Oh, you need to play World of Tanks. Roger that. I'll spend 20 hours a week playing World of Tanks, and you'll have no more TMP. Between family, work, and TMP, I am maxed. This is nostalgic. So this is a Flieger style watch, even though it's a modern production Citizen. And by the way, that'll be thematic for this WRV. This is such a beautiful look. So it's a Flieger style, old style leather band, has a modern aspect to it. It's Eco Drive, solar powered again, Type A dial. Really great watch. Really great watch. It's nostalgic for me because it reminds me of World War II style of pilot watches. Albeit a chronograph, and it has a modern twist. This too. So this is a classically styled watch. This is a Mondaine Swiss watch. Railroad style watch. Have not reviewed that one yet. It's coming up. And then we got the box for the subject at hand. This beautiful, this gorgeous, striking Orient Sun and Moon. Check it out, dudes. Yeah, that is nostalgic for me. Now, maybe some guys are surprised that I like this watch because I have reviewed G-Shocks, divers, field watches, pilot watches, a few at this point. And guys maybe pigeonhole me to being a certain type of watch guy. It's not true, but I wouldn't say wearing nostalgic timepieces is my main gig. It's not, but it's fun to put on once in a while. It is, and I would prefer a modern interpretation watch like this over an actual I should say nostalgia, but let's say historic timepiece for a couple reasons. One is cost. If you get one that has this style of complications, if it even exists, it's probably going to be expensive. If it comes from the early 1900s or something. 2, is it going to be reliable and accurate? Probably not, and that will lead to 3, you probably have to get it serviced. And it's going to cost you probably a couple $100s to go through the watch. And even then, it may not run for very long. So is it cool? Yes. Is it, you know, collectible? I'm talking a historic timepiece. Yes. If you really want to enjoy it, you have to wear it. And if you're going to wear it, buy something that's going to run and run. Unless you're made of money. If you're made of money and that's your thing, collecting watches, a lot of guys like that, I say rock on. I totally get it. My price level where I live as a reviewer and as a watch enthusiast is $300 and below. And this Orient Sun and Moon falls right in there. Right in there. We pay $220 on Amazon for this watch, the Sun and Moon. Which, by the way, comes in a variety of colors. This is my favorite, the white-faced Sun and Moon. And this is a SKU number on it. There are different variations where the sun is actually in a 1030 position. I'm talking the Sun and Moon indicator dial right here, rather than the 430 position. Either one is fine by me. I don't really have a preference. You have a blue-faced version with white indices, white hands, black-faced version with the same. Again, this is my favorite. Because it presents larger, it looks so clean. We'll study the dial here in just a second. It's a great watch. Now, this is actually a showdown video between the Orient Sun and Moon and another brand you may have never heard of, and I really don't know how long it will last. It is a Chinese brand, and it's going to be a brand called Parnis, and I'm just going to hold it in the background because we're not going to look at it in detail. Which is the better value? Which is the watch that I would buy? Ooh. By the way, I didn't really intend it to be a showdown video, but in another take, I started comparing the two watches. Like, I might as well, because then I knock out 3 watches. Yeah, I have another Parnis to show you in one video, and that to me is efficient. I'm never trying to do more videos. I have about 2,000 out right now, so I don't need to like do a review on this, review on that. I'm only getting about, I don't know, 2% engagement from TMPers on the watch content. Anyhow, so how long will the watch show last? I don't know. I know, but I sure enjoy doing it. And I enjoy looking at watches and wearing watches like this Orient back to the face. It reminds me of a very high-class wedding invitation. The face does. I'm talking about like how it's matte, set, parchment in nature. Look at the detail on that face. It's just gorgeous. Raised indices, Roman numerals in stark black against a white face. Elegant, non-illuminated hands, by the way, as it should be in this style of watch, which are just so easy to read. Legibility is so huge to me these days for an analog watch. I will talk about it more and more. You can see the registration of the seconds hand. This is an in-house built automatic movement by Orient, made in Japan. Pretty quiet in operation. Don't know the power reserve. I looked it up, stopped looking, not really sure. To me, power reserve really doesn't matter that much because either you're wearing your auto watch or you're not. If it's off your wrist, 2 days goes by and lo and behold, your watch is going to be dead. So power reserve, it doesn't matter to me. To a point. I mean, if it's like 1 hour, then it would matter. Like, I want to be able to take it off to shower, go wash the car or something like that. Other than that, I'm not a power reserve snob. And the Sun and Moon complication is just so cool. Notice the 2 screws that mechanically attach it to the movement and the case. I'm going to go ahead and rotate the hands for you so you can see the rotation of the Sun and Moon. Try to get rid of the reflection for you. Hold it really close. Look at that. How clean that sun presentation is. We have quick set on the day and date. Again, getting to another advantage of getting a modern interpretation of this style of watch. That you do have day and date. I mean, maybe some had them, maybe they didn't. But there's, I'm moving the day, you can see that. I rotate it backwards and I'll move the date right there. I like that. Is it primary in an automatic watch? And not for me, because I'm usually dual wearing a smartwatch, an Apple Watch is what I'm doing now. So it has the things I need on it. I don't think of this as a watch. Once again, I'll keep saying it. It is a wrist computer, a messaging service computer, a fitness tracker. I think as a watch, it sucks. You know, sometimes I'll rotate it. I can't see the time at all. I look on my other wrist, I'll see the time all the time. By the way, my EDC watch right now is speaking of a modern watch, is a PRG 650 in camo band with that super sick, I gotta show you this, dudes. I gotta show you. The Neo Bright illumination. Oh! That is so cool. Oh, link below for this watch. I got it from Amazon. It's so cool. I sold another PRG 600. I got this one. I didn't even know they changed it. So they changed the indices to be illuminated like this. I think I do have it on auto time. You can fully read the LED screen too. All right, sorry about that. I know, this is a vintage watch review and you're showing a Casio. Come on, nothing fancy. Get with it. Now notice the case. It is rather deep. I should have worn my gloves because I'm marking this all up. I forgot. I like that. To me, that is nostalgic. Having a deep watch body. I don't need something super thin. And having that depth allows it to have so much more character. For instance, look at the layering of the date window of the moon. And actually, the day is also indented. I like all that. That's really cool. I like the markings on the exterior, how precise the dots are. I mean, it's really a home run. This Orient watch face to include the Orient logo. It's just so beautiful. The watch, again, relatively thick. Let's measure it super quick. And I will level a criticism before it's over. Trust me. I will. But it's just my mileage. I mean, you guys may not feel that way at all. 14 millimeters, lug to lug. These are not precise measurements because I'm hurrying. About 50 millimeters. And then this is my most important dimension, usually 42.3 millimeters on that, on the sun and moon. High polished stainless steel 316L, unidirectional rotor, again in-house movement. I'm not a movement snob, I'm not. As long as it works, keeps good time, it's relatively quiet and it's durable, dude, I'm happy. Happy. You know, first cool all the way. The crown has an Orient logo on it. Not a screw down crown. I kind of demonstrated that already. The strap is very good looking. So it's simulated alligator. It's cowhide. We have some stitching on it. Not contrasting in this particular version. There's probably different straps. I haven't even worn this yet because I want to get the video out quickly. And the way this strap works is kind of like an IWC. So you just like put that pin in the hole, thread your watch strap through, and then it's set, and then you just pass your arm through and attach it. I actually like that. I have behind me a Victorinox Swiss-made watch that does the same thing. That's an Orient. Good looking watch, man. Good looking. Okay, and then let's look at its competition. So here it comes. A Chinese brand. It is called Parnis. Here comes the close-up. And man, do I love this watch too. Now, is this an homage watch? Probably. It kind of looks like it takes off on the IWC Portuguese chrono look. The hands look similar. The markings look similar. And man, do I love that watch. Heck, I can't tell you the price. I know it's a lot. It's thousands of genuine IWC. But I think this is different. I mean, where the dials are, very different. The power reserve indicator, different. It's different, but I love the looks of this Parnis. Now, I don't know the exact model number of this. It's not really being said in Amazon. That's where I bought this watch. 90 bucks, by the way. Oh my gosh, so it's less than half of what I think is already a value-priced watch. Yeah, so it's an interesting showdown to me. It really is. Notice the indices on this. They're applied. They have a three-dimensional nature to them. This is an automatic movement as well. Chinese produced, and they call it a Seagull Chinese movement. So this is an entirely clear case back. Three-piece case. So you have a bottom piece, screw-in, case back, brushed stainless steel side, and then a top piece with a mineral crystal. And by the way, this is sapphire on the Orient. Let's look at the dimensions. This is huge for me too. Thickness, 14, just about the same. Lug to lug, angled down. By the way, look at that, how the lugs are, 50.7. The most important dimension is right here for me, 42.7, we'll call it 43 millimeters. But here's the deal. Look at this. When you hold the Orient versus this Parnis, which watch looks bigger? Right, the Parnis does, but they're essentially the same size. Maybe this one's slightly bigger, not that much. It's really strange, isn't it? Is it how the bezels are presented? Probably. Which one has better legibility between the two? I think most of you guys are going to say they're about the same, and I totally get it. But I'm going to give it to this one because you don't have a sun and moon complication in this variation. I think this one is slightly more legible, but it's like splitting hairs because this one's really clean, dudes. Totally. This doesn't have a dedicated seconds hand. It's right here in the subdial, which is brushed stainless steel, or I'm sorry, brushed aluminum. I sure love the blue hands against the white. I just love that. And it's a functional power reserve in this $90 watch, dudes. Functional with hand winding. Look at it. Does this have hand winding? I don't. Yeah, it does. Sorry, I forgot. It does. The Orient does. I think some models don't. This one does. Let's look at the strap on the Parnis. It's actually pretty good. So it's a light tan, simulated alligator, and I think it's genuine leather. I never look at the actual marking because, I mean, sometimes it's marked as genuine leather and it ain't. Also, a look at the rotor and the movement. You know, guys who are really into movements and calibers and all that stuff will look at this and go, well, I would never trust my watch to that. I've been wearing this, dudes, and it's been accurate. I mean, I wore this for a week and it was perfect. And the other one, too. I just like, holy cow, I can't believe it. They're really nice. If you don't like the strap, it'll be super easy to replace. 22 millimeters. I believe the same as the Orient. Look at this side. Maybe a downside is the name. You know, guys are into watch names, and this is Parnis. It's not really known. Is it going to impress anybody? People who don't know watches, I would say yeah. They would go, wow, that's a really cool looking watch. I really do think they'd say that. Double keepers, simple stainless steel clasp on this one, and I have another Parnis to show you in the showdown video. Check this one out, a perpetual calendar Parnis. Oh my gosh, that is a good looking watch. And that one does have a sun and moon complication. I'll start with pulling out the crown and rotating the hands. And we're going to see, by the way, that we're not getting the legibility on the sun and moon indicator that we have on the Orient. Those are very crisp, very bright, very excellent. They're still there though. When I get a sun and moon complication, I would like it to be pretty large and become a central design element in the watch. Nevertheless, this face, just like this other Parnis, is gorgeous. I mean, applied blue markers, applied, well, three-dimensional is what I'm trying to say. Look at this. Oh, that is gorgeous, man. Super legible, even though you have 4 subdials. And then these buttons control your date setting. So right here, that's the month. You'll figure it out just by doing it. There's the date. Here's your day. How cool is that, dudes? That is very cool. Let me move it a little closer and you can see the globe complication on the white face of this Parnis. Look at the buttons. I still have the protective coating on them. I just left it there. I mean, look at the machining. Do you see any machining marks on this thing? This is clean. Brushed stainless steel on the side. I think it's water resistant only to 30 meters. The Orient, I think, is 50 meters. But with a leather band, are you really going to go diving or getting it wet? No, I'm not. One thing I really love about this one is its size. Oh my God, I wish this one had the size of this one. I'm going to hold it up against the Orient so you can tell. Oh, that is perfect. Perfect size. This one right here. I won't measure any other span except this. 45 millimeters. Now you're talking. To me, that is gold. Gold. It presents better. Has a large presentation. I just love this watch. Good band, good everything. About 90 bucks. Both of these were about 90 bucks. Again, I'm saying the Orient is a great deal at $220. Here's a box, by the way, of the Orient. Pretty straightforward. Now we get to the brass tacks of this video. Which one would you choose, Nut and Fancy? One criticism I'm going to level against the Parnis, this one, is that the white they use is slightly ivory colored. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. This is a bright Arctic white. I like the Orient color better, but it's just a titch below. This one, the calendar Parnis, Sun and Moon complication also, bigger watch, has a color almost like that of the Orients. Beautiful. And by the way, this also comes in blue and maybe a black version as well. So there are different varieties of these Parnises. I, again, don't know how long they'll be around, but they are cool. And yeah, they're probably an homage to some style of watch, but you know what? So is the Orient. This is probably copying some other watch that came before it, and it's just an interpretation of that watch. I mean, it goes on in everything. Knives, guns, watches, everyone's copying everybody else. It's been that way forever. Yeah, so which one would you prefer, Nut and Fancy? This is what I'm going to say, okay? You may know where I'm going with this. The price I'm not really looking at, because again, I think $220 for this level of quality, Japanese, automatic movement, I've shown you the details, that's a good buy. But I am going towards sizing, because on my wrist, and I'll just lay it against my wrist super quick so you can see, this wears just slightly small for me. What? That looks perfect, Nut and Fancy. You're crazy. Well, I'm just giving you my preference, bro. And then, look, you know, pulling the time off of it. Again, it's super legible, but if I were to choose between the hands of these three watches, I like these better. Yes, I have a thing for the blue hands. I'm telling you that right now. And I really love this style right here. This, to me, is a size I like. Because the theme for this WRV is vintage things. To me, this seems more vintage to me, a larger watch. Maybe it's a Pilot aesthetic, a Flieger aesthetic. Don't know, but this is my favorite between all three of them right here. For the size, it also has a Sun and Moon complication. It's pretty thick too, and I told you I don't mind the thickness. I guess I will measure it super quick. It's about the same, 14 millimeters, just like the other ones. And this is a great watch too. I like the size of this too. Although it seems about the same as this Sun and Moon. The Orient. I don't know what it is. Visually though, the one on the left looks bigger. Slightly. They look the same to me, Nut and Fancy. I can't tell any difference at all. They're really close. To answer the question in the showdown video, which one would I prefer? Very, very close. But probably the Parnises. That's where I'd go with it. Because I'm not like a watch snob guy. I'm kind of a super value guy, and so not that Orient is some value, or I'm sorry, luxury brand. It ain't. But for the reasons I've said, I would, I don't know, save $130 and go with a Parnis and run it and see how it goes. And then if you don't like it, or if it breaks on you, you're only out $90. And then go buy the Orient. But the Orient, I can't say anything negative about it. It's quality. The variations, the blue version, the blackface version, the execution on Orient watches is absolutely superb, and it's worth every penny you'd pay. It is an excellent watch. But that's where I stack in this showdown. Nut and Fancy. See